very interesting episode. I think I almost want to say the best way I can liken this is to a bottle episode.
A bottle episode?
A bottle episode of a show is a show where the people don't leave the general setting that like the general set that their show typically takes place in. So
Hmm.
for an episode of Star Trek, a bottle episode is an episode that takes place entirely within the confines of the Enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah, they're cheap to produce.
They're cheap to
Right.
produce because they just use all the regular sets. They don't go anywhere special. Thus
Yeah.
the episode takes place in a bottle.
Right. 12 Angry Men, Fly, and Breaking Bad. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna have an episode sort of like that. So here's the deal. As we all know, the entirety of the 10th Fleet has been recalled to Narendra Station. The Kismet, the Sarek, the Hadfield, the Independence, and the Everest are all back at Narendra. A number of the security officers from the various ships, and in your case, Commander Jacoby, not only your security officers, but your chief engineer as well, has been tapped to go on a mission led by Commander Varro from the USS Kismet. And the other captains have also been tapped to go to handle some situation personally by Admiral Hebert. Oh, god damn it. How loud is it?
It's not terrible.
Okay.
It's not terrible, yeah. Don't worry about it.
But you know exactly what I'm talking about now.
Yeah.
And now the back heater kicks on.
Just relax, man. It's fine.
Great. So, that, however, leaves you, Commander Jacoby. You now find yourself, in fact, I'll pull up the, where is it? Here it is. You are on Narendra Station, walking down a corridor. Standing right next to you and walking right alongside you is, his name is Vice Admiral Canrog. He's the Benzite you spoke to?
Yes, the Benzite, yes, of course.
The Benzite. And you're walking down the hallway with him, and it's, I apologize that you were given the short end of the stick on this one, Commander Jacoby.
I am here for Starfleet, and I will do what Starfleet orders me to do.
It was considered putting you on the team with Captains Drennan and Starrix, but it was figured that we needed someone here to hold the fort down, and for whatever reason, Admiral Hebert decided to pull as many captains as she wanted in picking out her diplomatic team. Right now, we don't need diplomats. We need solutions. And the more officers that we have working on these problems, the better.
I understand, Vice Admiral.
Now, I assume you've read the various fleet reports and are familiar with the situation as it stands.
Yes, it's disconcerting, to say the least.
Right. There are a few bright spots in this whole situation.
Such as?
Well, for starters, the USS Sarek has managed to recover a sample of the virus.
Oh, that is excellent. That is absolutely excellent.
However, it is a very small sample, so we must be very careful. Not to mention the actual power and deadliness of the virus itself.
I understand, Vice Admiral. So, what are my orders?
Your orders are to oversee the team, the research teams. Now, I would have liked to get you the research lead from the USS Kismet, but as I've said again, for whatever reason, Admiral Hebert seems to find diplomacy and gaining allies more important, and so has taken Dr. Efrix for her diplomatic teams.
I see. Well, I'll just have to make do with what I have. I assume my doctor, Dr. Blackwell, is on the...
Indeed he is, along with Dr. Starks of the USS Sarek. Now, I did manage to pull a few strings, and I do have someone coming out who is slightly familiar with the Kismet systems, medical staff, and I forget, what is it? Let me check something super quick. Okay. Uh, she isn't extremely experienced with viruses and infections such as this, but she is still one of the brightest medical personnel that Starfleet has seen in the past decade.
I see. Well, Vice Admiral, I will give it my all. I promise you this.
Of course, you also have access to the Chief Scientific Officer from the USS Kismet.
Oh, who might that be?
That would be one Lieutenant Junior Grade Mako Ijula.
Ah, I see. I think I have read some sort of report on that. I shall have to meet them all, I suppose. Are they in the research bay right now?
They should be, however, our, my specialist that I'm having brought in will not arrive for another 20 minutes or so.
Very well. Shall we grab a drink, Vice Admiral?
I am afraid I do not have the time. I have much planning to do with Admiral Hebert in regards to Starfleet Command.
Very well, then I will head to the research bay and get acquainted with my crew.
Dismissed.
Aye, sir.
All right. So we will actually start this scene. Just we'll give a brief moment for Commander Jacoby, Blackwell, Sterix, and Ijula to get themselves acquainted.
Where are we located?
You are in the main scientific laboratories on Narendra Station.
As a quick question, Ijula, were you the science officer when Karen was serving on it?
He was not.
Okay.
He didn't.
I don't know who she is.
Yep.
Basically, I used to be on the Kismet, but then work stuff happened, and I've been swamped ever since.
Yeah. She was the doctor before Efrix.
Got it.
I like to imagine she'd be a lieutenant by now, but still working on the doctorate.
Yeah, you'll see. You'll see. I have a thing.
But yeah, I'd like a quick scene with you if that's okay.
You'll get it.
Okay.
So, describe the area to us, please, so I can get a feel for what I'm,
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I have any ambience for this. I might. Ooh, this'll do. Okay. So you walk in and you see just every manner of scientific equipment. Hang on. Every manner of scientific equipment lining the walls. Stuff ranging from deep space spectroscopy terminals to biomatter analyzers, just everything you could really imagine. However, one thing you note is that any of the medical equipment is not quite as up to snuff as that you might have on the Hadfield, Commander.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But
Dr. Blackwell, once again, I am caught in the middle of a desert and I don't know where. Can you help me, please?
Sure. What do you need, Skipper?
I am in charge of all of you guys, all of you doctors, and we are supposed to make something happen. The problem is, I don't know how to make things happen. You are here to make things happen, and I am here to help out in any way I can. So, I know about you, Doc Blackwell, but what about the rest of you? Can you tell me something about yourselves? Lieutenant Ajula, shall you start?
I guess I'll begin. Lieutenant Junior Grade Jula here. I'm a generalist operations manager, science officer here on the Kismet. I have no particular expertise in virology or bioscience, but I've been trying to get up to speed.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I will tell you that I didn't specify, my mistake. Izula, you have actually been brought in here not so much to deal with the virus, but to crack the numbers and engineering surrounding the transmissions.
I see. Which transmissions are these?
You're trying to figure out how it uses the replicators.
Yep.
From
I
Orion,
see.
the transmissions from Orion subspace, right?
The computerized planet.
Oh, the computerized planet. Okay.
As you know, I will. This is why you read the fleet reports.
I did read the fleet. What?
The fleet reports aren't always 100% clear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the fleet report for the security mission is the one that you guys really need to read.
Yeah, that one not exactly very illuminating, honestly. I've read it and it's just kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Let me pull that up myself. Oh yeah.
I only know as much as I do because I watched.
Yep. Yeah.
Which report is this? Is this last Thursday or yesterday?
This is last Thursday. Oh, that's weird. Huh. Okay.
Wait, Thursday, so Sarek mission?
No. Yeah. Wait. What?
It's Commander
I am the
Veros.
doctor.
Yes. Yeah. The
On
one
the
that says
Varro's report.
Varro's report.
Oh, so Tuesday.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's weird that doesn't actually say it, but the information that was gleaned was they got the actual transmission frequency that the Orions are going to be using, and they got the exact frequency the Orions are going to be using. I think they confirmed what the plan was going to be, and I think one other thing.
Now we shall double check it in any case.
Yeah.
Lieutenant, I think that your technical expertise will be very well adapted here in this environment. You are
I heard somebody say something on one of the games about drone ships.
Oh, right, yes.
That was also a Sunday thing, too.
Okay, Dr. Sterix, would you mind saying a few words about yourself?
I'm here because they ordered me to. If I wasn't ordered, I'd be with my pregnant wife.
I see. You are still nonetheless welcome, and we'll see what we can try and do to get you as quickly as possible home to your pregnant wife, Doctor.
And he just kind of, nods, okay.
Is Nurse Sullivan with us here right now, or no?
No, she is not, because I'm gonna have a whole thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, gentlemen, I think it's best that we proceed onwards. So, what do we have so far?
I'd recommend we take this to the Hadfield, sir. I mean, the medical facilities here are adequate, but honestly, our advanced sick bays puts what's available here to shame.
Let me put this up to the chain of command. Actually, yeah, Dr. Blackwell, send a message to Admiral Hubbard asking if we can transfer over everything here to the Hadfield.
In that case, it would be Vice Admiral Calrog you'd want to deal with, because this is all scientific.
Of course.
This is all
So
stuff within scientific R&D, so that's his.
We'll deal with the sciencey people, yeah.
All right, so I tap my communicator. Oh, not ready with the sound effect.
Oh,
Anyway, as we're leaving, I tap Dr. Sterix on the shoulder and I say, as someone who's been a mother a few times, I just want to say, don't worry about it. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, well, when your child is a hybrid of two races that shouldn't technically genetically mix, worries is part of it. And but he does thank you for but thank you for trying to help.
Anytime.
So
Blackwell to Admiral Calrog.
Calrog here.
Admiral, respectfully request we transfer the science and medical mission to the Hadfield, where our advanced facilities might provide a better arena in which to get our heads around this virus.
You have my approval. But
Thank
be
you.
be very careful. The quarantine container that it's being kept in is very delicate.
Admiral, I assure you the Hadfield has the most advanced quarantine facilities in the fleet, literally. Blackwell out.
Well, okay.
And
then-
the cutoff.
And you cut him off. Well, one thing you would have read in all of your reports about this is that this virus can jump quarantine fields.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
that would have been probably one of the first thing in StarX's logs if he could post them.
Okay, Commander Jacoby to Ensign Biss aboard the Hadfield. Ensign, activate transporters and beam over the quarantined virus samples into maximum security, the maximum security district in our medical quarters, and then beam everyone else to the Hadfield, if you will, please.
Understood. And have to switch over to this, and
Oh, and he probably would have mentioned something about also having a child almost assimilated. Kind of puts one on edge.
come on. Why is it not?
We got it.
not
We got it.
Oh,
We got it. So the thing is, recently Roll20's been having a lot of problems with the jukebox. For instance, I cannot hear the ambience for sickbay and the general station ambience. It's weird because Fanburst is crashing or something like that. So it's not working really as it should be.
And to answer your question, Ajula, no, it isn't. It's a virus that the Sarek crew recovered from the Orions.
Well, recovered is a strong word.
So, what do you know about this virus, Dr. Starix, that I've reviewed the fleet reports, and nowhere in there did I see anything that said that it jumped quarantine fields.
And once we get to the Hadfield, I put up the security cam footage from Deck 14. Which, at the time of the virus dispersal, that took out the entire deck. I don't have, but basically what happens is you'd see, I don't know what the infection vector is, but you'd see, it in its cube, and that's about it.
So,
Breast grinning.
okay, so I guess you guys are going to want to start getting to work?
Right, yeah, to the medical quarters.
All right, so you guys are going to start getting to work. In the meantime, we are going to cut to a shuttlecraft that is currently approaching Narendra Station. It is more specifically the shuttlecraft. No, not the Hadfield. I want this one. It is the shuttlecraft Angelou from the USS Kismet. And sitting inside of it are who do I have? Ensign Jason Wittergast, and in the other seat is a Lieutenant Junior Grade Karen Sullivan.
And she's literally that, like, you can see her. Anyone who's in there can hear and see her foot tapping very quickly. You're kind of shocked that it's actually that possible.
Well, currently you are just in the shuttle with Ensign Jason Wittergast, who you remember from the Kismet.
Right.
Yeah. So
Wait, is he the one who
Who we never use, yes.
simulation with me?
Yes. He is that one.
Oh, in that case, even though I think the tapping would still happen, simply out of nervousness, but she's definitely chatting it up, trying to catch up on everything that happened, which for the Kismet seems like a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Where he says, "Well, I don't know everything. I mean, I'm not senior staff like Pend, but a lot's changed in the 10th Fleet. You know, we've gotten a lot more at our disposal now. And look, I know you were in the middle of your internship, but they really need you here."
I can understand why they'd grab me. I've worked on this sort of thing before. It was viruses like this. I don't want to say they're difficult because they are difficult, and she's trying to come up with words.
Mm-hmm.
She eventually just goes on and says, "They are tiring."
Yeah, I can imagine so. Last time the Kismet dealt with one, everyone was pretty wiped after the whole ordeal, myself included. So as he looks forward, he says, "Oh, and we are coming in." And you now see Narendra Station. You remember Narendra Station, and docked around it are a series of series of 5 ships, 5 vessels, at least 5 Starfleet vessels. There are also 2 Klingon. There are also 2 Klingon vessels. One about the size of the Kismet, and one that's about half that size.
We're currently allies with the Klingons, right?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if canon's been broken in that way.
In fact, in terms of Narendra Station is actually a joint effort.
Okay.
It's a joint operation between the Federation and the Klingons. But docked around it, you see 5 vessels. Only one of which you actually recognize, and that would be the USS Kismet. Sitting right next to the USS Kismet in the docking ring is a ship about the same size as it.
There she is! And she goes straight to the window and looks out at it, and she's like, is Grennan still captain aboard?
Yes, he is. Varro too.
How is everyone? Is everyone okay? Did we lose anyone?
Well, we had a pretty rough time a while back where a large amount of the ship got destroyed.
Oh.
We lost a lot of good people that day. But all in all, morale's been up.
That's good to hear. She's really good. And she says to him, "When you're running the thing one day, take good care of her."
I sure plan on it. And as he brings you around, you see the next ship in the line of docked ships around the ring is a ship you haven't seen before. It's an Akira class, just as big as the USS Kismet, and much more clearly kitted out for war. It is.
Those are relatively new, right?
Yes, they
No,
are.
those are older.
Nope.
It's the Baikonur. It came out in 2375.
Yeah, the Akira class is a 2372 ship.
Okay.
So it's recent. And you read across the front nacelle is the USS Independence, which out of character is it's the NPC ship for the fleet.
I didn't think that there were many warships left in Starfleet. I thought a lot of them were dismantled after the Dominion War.
Yeah, well, with the growing Orion threat out here, Starfleet felt it was a good idea to put at least one out here.
I should probably pay more attention to politics, honestly.
And then
it always.
Mhm.
No, I said something. No, you said something.
Oh,
Just continue.
then it brings you around to. Then you see the next ship in the line, just as big as the. In fact, just a little bigger than both the Kismet and the Independence. You see
That's
an
right.
you see an ambassador class starship. It's been refitted a bit. It looks more like something out of. If you look at the picture of it, it looks a little bit more like it's out of next gen as opposed to the older design of it. And its name across the top is the USS Sarek.
Which was the one before the Sarek?
Imjin.
Okay, and it's like I didn't know we had a Sarek in the we had one in the we had a ship in the fleet named Sarek. I thought the Imjin was the.
Well, unfortunately, we lost the Imjin a while back. In fact, it's the guy behind that who is currently causing the fleet so much trouble.
He wasn't taken in?
No, he escaped. In fact, we thought he was dead for a while there. Anyhow, the crew of the Imjin found this ship, the USS Sarek, during one of their deep space exploration missions. Starfleet turned it around into a ship, and when the Imjin was destroyed, they gave her captain the Sarek sort of as a make it up to you present.
She sits down and just sort of looks contemplatively. If this virus does break out, how long will it take to reach inner parts of the Federation?
I don't know. I'm just the pilot. And brings you around to the next ship. You see a very kitted out, very refitted Miranda class.
That's actually in service?
Yes, but you can tell it has been heavily refitted. Said, yeah, they pulled one of those out of mothballs. It's the, that ship is the base for the Thunderbird Squadron.
I didn't know we had fighter pilots.
Well, now we do. Bunch of self-righteous. Yeah. And he starts muttering under his breath.
How do you know if there's a fighter pilot at your party? Answer, they'll tell you.
Yep. Well, and
And then say Neum to your face.
well, you can tell you can tell there's a little bit of grumble there, because he's a pilot. There's a little bit of pride to him.
And do I know anything about the Azure?
No, the Azure is. Oh, there's a whole thing about that. Trust me, you will hear it when you hear it.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll hear it when you hear it. And then he brings you around. There's one more ship. He said, and we were gonna dock at Narendra Station proper, but by all accounts, plans have changed. The main scientific team has moved on board to the other ship in the fleet, right there, the Hadfield. And you see a tiny little Nova-class vessel.
Oh, it's kind of cute.
And just it sort of stands out against all the larger ships of the 10th Fleet. But if you know anything about your studies from the Nova class, it's small, but they fit a lot in there. So, okay, and we are cleared to dock, and the Hadfield's shuttle bay opens up, and let me pull it up. And the Angelou lands. He taps his comm badge. So down in sick bay, for the commander, your comm badge chirps.
Commander Jacoby here.
Yeah, this is, why did I have, this is Ensign Jason Wittergast from the USS Kismet. I'm here with your, additional crew member, one Lieutenant Junior Grade Karen Sullivan.
Understood. No time for formality. Send her down directly to the med bay and go get yourself a drink from the cafeteria.
Huh, will do. Thanks. And, he steps out, and I assume you do as well.
Yeah, I do have 3 pads with me. One is my like internship stuff because I might need to just keep up with things while I need it. One is my personal records from from around the time of the
Kismet?
what's it called? Yeah, from the virus on the Kismet, and the last is basically starting theories about concerning whatever is happening with the virus now, seeing if there's any dots we can connect.
Well, this is a different virus.
Oh, of course, but
Yeah.
you know that I don't want to say there's only so many ways you can make a virus
Yeah.
because that's not even blatantly true.
So, so Edson Wittergast just sort of nods off to you, and he walks down the corridor, and you, I assume, are going to get in the turbo lift.
Yeah, turbo lift down.
Sound effects.
And after a few seconds, the turbo lift stops, and
What, in a turbolift image?
hang on. Only because you asked so nicely.
Got to give everyone the full Hadfield experience.
Yep.
Oh, where'd you get these maps?
Yeah, they're off DeviantArt. There's a guy who made these designs, and they're really good. So I assume you're gonna head to the sick bay.
Yeah, go in. So actually, kind of running in, do a sort of like skid to a stop, and then open it, slightly out of breath.
So you find yourself standing in a sick bay that let me find the ambience for it. Sick bay. You find yourself standing in a sick bay that is, I don't want to say more advanced than anything you've ever seen, but it is up there. It's like they somehow managed to take they took the facilities on like a starbase's sick bay and cram it down until it fit in this space. And then they also added a couple extra goodies that not even a starbase sickbay has.
She just sort of stops in her tracks, looks around, and then looks for the first person to talk to.
That would probably be Azula then.
Right. Hi. I'm the extra staff member that was ordered. My name. I'm Lieutenant Junior Grade Nurse Karen Sullivan. Still working on the doctor part.
Yeah. What are you here to do?
I have previous experience working with a large viral outbreak back on the Kismet. After it was bitten by a giant space fish.
Yeah, that's nice. Is there anyone here on the medical staff you're supposed to report into?
Who am I reporting into?
You'd probably be reporting into Commander Lawrence Jacoby.
Yes, I'm looking for and she checks one of the pads. Lawrence Jacoby?
I think you mean Commander Jacoby. He's the CO here. Look for him in the...
Right, got it. And she decks and she
books it.
And she books it.
Great. So in that case, I'd like to then. So we then pan the camera to the other side of the sick bay, with Dr. Blackwell and Dr. Sterix, who are currently standing in front of an isolation chamber, in which sits a. Did they describe what the canister looked like for the virus?
They are cubes.
Oh, it's a cube.
Yeah, they are cubes that turn data into DNA or DNA into data.
Oh, that's the that's the ribonic extrapolator. Different thing.
Yeah.
I'm talking
But
about.
no,
I'm talking about the virus
they
you recovered. Okay, so
Oh.
yeah, no, you're looking at a canister in which a bluish black liquid just sort of just sits.
So is the bluish black liquid some sort of what do they call it? Suspension, or is it that's actually that much fucking virus?
Would you like to make a check to find out?
actually, I would.
Yes.
All right.
Full containment, full hot zone gear.
You're just gonna be looking at it, Doctor. You're not even gonna touch.
Mm-hmm.
Put on the Vader suits.
Put on the Vader
Yeah.
suits. Okay, you go into the chamber wearing your suits. You got your medical tricorders, and I'm gonna have you guys make a insight and medicine difficulty 2 check. But one of you can lead and one of you can assist.
All right. I have virology and quick study, which I think both would apply here.
Well, quick study is it comes up when you do stuff later. But
Okay.
yes, if you start it now, boy oh boy, will you get your mileage out of it.
I have xenobiology and genetics, so alien virus, xenobiology.
I'll let genetics apply.
Okay, fair enough.
Genetics will apply. Xenobiology, not so much.
Okay. We both have about the same medicine. My insight is 11.
Yeah, you make the main roll. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. So focused use, yes. Task roll 2. All right. Get to where I can see the rolls.
Now, unfortunately, I don't have any of this information typed out, so I'm probably just gonna tell it to you, and eschew the my typical. I send you the information so you can disseminate it like it's on Star Trek.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
So,
Oh shit.
well, we're off
Oh.
to a bang up start.
Yeah, no doubt.
I can't roll, so
Yeah, that's. I'm just gonna take that as threat, and I'll let
Fair
you.
enough.
Which you didn't give yourself at the beginning.
Yeah, and I'm taking it now. So I'll just take that as threat. Cause wow, that's. I'll let you do it again. Cause wow.
All
I
right.
think I might want to. Well, I mean, yours is still higher, but
You got this,
Wow,
Doctor.
that
Go,
was-
go ahead, Doctor. Go
Oh,
ahead.
that feels
You got-
good.
There we go.
There you go.
Much better. Okay. So interestingly enough, you manage to so you're scanning it, and inside of here, it's yeah, there's definitely just sort of a bit of a suspension liquid, but no, a frightening amount of this canister is just that much goddamn virus. But
The Admiral said it was a small sample.
hmm But
I mean, it did take out a deck of
but,
an ambassador pod.
there is something interesting about this virus that you're noticing. Two things, really. One, the virus doesn't appear to be entirely uniform. There appear to be multiple different strains of virus inside this mixture. And what's more, they seem to be appearing and disappearing at random.
Huh. That's odd.
Like, not mutating into a different form, but literally, like, just appearing out of nowhere and disappearing back into nowhere?
As far
Blinking in and out.
as far as you can tell, as far as your scans right now can, I will let you ask the question for that momentum you generated. As to
No. I want that momentum.
as to exactly as to what these viruses are doing exactly.
They're probably
Yeah,
multiplying, guys. Just
No, that would be
That-
no. I'm
that'd be a good
100%
question to
down with
ask.
that. Yeah.
alright. Take it, Brennan. Take it.
Okay, what you can tell is that it's not so much that the viruses are disappearing, it's more like they're breaking down into their component prions.
Huh.
And then like reassembling into a different form.
Well, this may be a bit more complicated than we thought, Doctor.
Agreed, Doctor. I mean, rapid viral mutation is bad enough, but this,
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's. Sorry, go ahead.
Yep, and now I would like to you to make another one of these insight medicine checks, difficulty 2, as well.
do you want to take the lead on this one, Doctor?
I mean, yours is still a 16 to a 13, so.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Let's keep doing the quick study, and we'll do the focus. And please, Lord. Well, complication, but at least I made it.
Mm.
Okay. I'm gonna say that the next tasks that you do involving this virus will go up by 1.
Okay.
And this actually works quite well. You have managed to figure that even though these viruses are all different, there is a constant. The payload that these viruses deliver is constant. And
Different virus, same outcome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have the same DNA or RNA strands in the middle of them.
mhm. And with
Well,
that,
that would explain why it adapted to so many species so quickly.
and with that, we'll cut to the bridge with hang on, let me switch us to the bridge.
Sorry, I had to get that tidbit in. It was burning my brain.
Nice.
And the bridge and Commander Jacoby, the doors to the turbo lift open and on walks
A very tired looking Nurse Sullivan.
You must be Lieutenant Sullivan, am I correct?
Yes, sir. Lieutenant Sullivan. Extra crew.
Please take a moment. Sit in my comfy chair if you will.
Ship's not that
The
big.
captain's chair, sir.
No, the Exos chair.
Oh, okay. She just sort of collapses into it.
it is a very comfy chair. He was not lying. It's a very
I don't get enough exercise.
Could I get you something, Lieutenant?
Oh, no. Just, looking for an update about, anything I might have missed while I was on the shuttle.
Anything in particular which strikes your fancy?
Are you
Anything
asking me
about-
or no?
Possible adaptation or how it's managing to affect a lot of species at once.
Well, I'm a captain. I'm not a doctor. I can't answer that. But I do know
Oh.
someone who can. Computer, ping Dr. Blackwell.
Blackwell here.
Doctor, have you made
Hi.
any progress whatsoever?
Yes, Dr. Starks and I have been scanning the sample. This is a really unusual one, Captain. It appears to the virus in one state breaks down to its component prions and then reassembles in a different state. However, its internal payload of DNA or RNA remains constant. This reshaping of the prions into different viral formations seems to be what allows the virus to attack so many different species and across the species barrier so well. And that's where we are so far. This is really nasty stuff, Captain.
And I'll let you know from your previous research, because you did such a good job at doing your background research, Doctor. I'll let you know right now that this whole prion thing and the way that they break down into prions, this is how they get past medical force fields. Because the medical force fields are designed so that they can allow in oxygen. And the holes in the force field's grid are large enough that viruses can't get through, but prions are small enough to make the trip.
All right, I will share that information with the captain as well, and say, I believe with Mr. Ajula's help, we might be able to modify the medical force field projectors to give us a much more secure facility in which to deal with the virus.
I see.
While keeping
All right,
it
Sam,
contained.
you'll be receiving a new recruit soon. I'll send her down your way as soon.
Yes, sir.
That also
Now, Lieutenant Sullivan, did you understand any of that? Because I didn't.
Yeah. The
Then
way I
you
can
may
describe
proceed
it-
to make your way down to the medical bay, where the doctors will be awaiting.
Aye, sir. And she
And
gets
do take
up.
the turbo lift this time, not the Jeffries tube.
She doesn't bolt to it this time.
Yeah. And you get in the turbo lift and jumping back down to sickbay. Actually, Ajula, for you looking into the signals and such, would you like to get started on that?
Sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. Can you repeat?
You're breaking up. I think it's on your end.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, kind of. So Ajula, would you like to do some work on the transmitter stuff?
Yeah, I'm sorry, do you want me to work on the force field, or do you want me to listen entirely?
Or what do you want to... well, okay. In that case, if you'd rather work on the force field, then we'll just start with sickbay then. It depends on what you want to do. Ajula?
Okay, let's try this again. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
where am I assigned to work here? What am I working on?
I leave that up to Commander Jacoby. What does he want you to do?
Jacoby, you there? Anyone there?
And now he's lost Jacoby.
Jacoby? You there? There, bud? Oh, boy.
You got yourself on mute?
In space, no one can like.
This is weird.
This is gonna be a fun time.
Oh, boy. I'm gonna
Okay, in the absence of orders, I'm just gonna fix that force field.
Okay. Give me a, I'd like you to give me a reason engineering check, difficulty 1.
My apologies. I went to get a bag of chips. How can I help?
What do you
Reason
want? Well,
engineering.
it doesn't matter now, Jacoby. So
Okay.
reason engineering difficulty 1.
Am I using a focus?
Do you have a focus that would apply?
Apply to what? What am I trying to fix?
You're trying to figure a way to make the force fields, the force field grading more fine so that the prions can't slip through.
You know what? I got a better solution. How about we either wear environmental suits or put in a simple level 5 force field like everyone else uses?
Well,
Because
that's
the doctor will look at you and say, because when we did that, it killed an entire deck of people.
Right. Look, we can look at it in a vacuum if we need to, with full protective gear. But what we're trying to do is reinforce the containment, because I mean we're going to be wearing our own air supply and everything anytime we're in the containment area with it. But if you can make the force field fine enough where the prions don't seep through, we've got it effectively contained.
In case something goes wrong.
Right.
Right, because
Because if something goes wrong with this, we're all heading for the beyond.
Because Azula, the thing I don't think you quite got was that a level 5 force field will not cut it.
I thought the issue was that these were unusually permeable.
No. It's as things stand, even like the strongest Federation force fields won't do the trick. You are breaking up really badly, Azula. I cannot hear a word you're saying.
I can barely hear you.
Okay.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Roll engineering reason.
Okay, well he's generated a momentum for us because
Yeah,
that was a
he rolled.
yeah.
He wins.
Yep, I'm seeing if there's something I can do to. You can't hear me, but I'm generating momentum. Promote me. So, what I'll tell you right now, Azula, what all that was leading up to, is the actual answer that getting the force field that fine is physically impossible.
So let's come up with a vaccine.
Not with force fields, you can't.
Right, we could do it with a physical containment and
Oh, then let me change the ambience to be sick bay.
yeah, that's what we're currently using is a box fundamentally.
An old-fashioned box, so we're just gonna okay.
Yeah, the old-fashioned quarantine methods.
Yeah.
You know, we could always go the Metal Gear Solid route and just use a cardboard box for everything.
That's true. That's true. So yeah,
Those things are damn near indestructible.
So at that moment, the doors to the sick bay open, and Nurse Sullivan walks in again.
Okay. The issue with trying to create a vaccine is that I don't know if if the shifting in prions will allow it to allow it to have a traditional vaccine that is inject a less powerful form of the virus. If you want an example, check out the difficulty in coming up with a vaccine for the human immunodeficiency virus back in the late 20th century. What we can possibly do is not come up with a vaccine in traditional sense, but come up with a fast-acting medicine that can be used as a preventative measure.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't think he's actually ever met her. So he's
Nope,
just like,
you haven't.
"Man, you are."
You have no idea who this is.
Oh, sorry. Lieutenant Junior Greg Nurse Karen Sullivan. I served on the Kismet during a viral outbreak.
Well, Lieutenant, I have some required watching for you to do. And then we can talk about, and he's trying to say this nicely because there's no way with what happened on Deck 14 that a fast-acting medicine is going to work, is what he's trying to get across nicely.
I think she might understand that. She's probably seen the video, but that was just an idea she threw out. Don't worry. seen it. It was haunting.
No, your point's well taken, but yeah,
Although,
if we're not going to be able to do some sort of vaccination, and it moves too fast for your standard, even fast-acting antiviral, so it leaves us a couple of options. Either we figure out some way to prevent the replicators from being able to spread it through a standalone system, or we concoct an airborne antiviral.
I had a thought. What
Mhm.
if we could mimic the breakdown and transformation of the virus in a vaccine?
That could work. Well,
Have it on a randomized genome.
it
That
would have
way,
this is going to
Go
sound
ahead.
weird, but what about nanomachines?
Nanomachines,
Uh,
son.
yeah, the doctor visibly stiffens at the mention of nanomachines.
Oh,
Okay.
right.
I understand with certain incidents there has been some stuff against it, but if we can say create a nanomachine that would scan for different parts of the virus, possibly equipped with a very small replicator, we might be able to have a reactive vaccine.
Or, since the payload remains the same, we could attack that.
That is also an option. Yeah, the method of and symptoms don't change. It's just the
Delivery.
delivery that changes.
So we need something that could effectively moot the RNA and DNA packaging, because that's how the virus reproduces. If we can keep it from reproducing, like the other side of the zipper, to use a rough analogy of a DNA helix, a way to cap off the strands to neuter it.
Wow,
We know-
your idea was good, Nurse Sullivan. I really would try and steer away from nanomachines myself, but
To be fair, Doctor, I don't think we can dismiss anything at this point, not with something this mutagenic and virulent.
Putting aside technical feasibility for a moment, why are you opposed to nanomachines?
The Sarek ran into a Borg cube not too
That's
long ago.
Borg sphere and
Borg
Oh.
sphere.
Sorry.
and yeah, that's something I'll tell you all of you right now. You have all heard about this. The U.S. like even you, Lieutenant Sullivan, the USS Miramar went missing with all hands. The USS Sarek tracked it down and found that it had been taken by a Borg sphere. Out of all the people on board the Miramar, only 5 were rescued.
That was you were on the oh my goodness, I am so sorry. should've-
And what he will tell you also, which you don't know from the report, is his wife was one of the surviving members of the Miramar.
His pregnant wife.
Mm-hmm. Pregnant wife. So that's the only reason he is I can't speak today,
Vehemently.
against nanomachines.
I understand. And
Oh.
there are other issues with using nanomachines, especially ones that might be able to be tracked easily.
Or reprogrammed.
We could use that as a last resort. Or
No, that's fair. A last resort. I wasn't going to dismiss it completely. It's just I would like to work on other options before that, if possible.
Hmm. Let me see. What do I have? So what are you guys actually going to do?
I think I want to try and come up with a viral or like a simulation,
Yeah.
speak right tongue, of possibly creating a vaccine that does the exact same thing that the virus does, just kind of in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Like it breaks down just like and recombines just like that, except I guess it's a combination of two plans, really.
It's an antiviral, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to attack the main RNA strand, and it's also going to mimic the phasing issue.
Yeah, the prion slip.
Do we have enough information on the virus and its prion reanimation to program that kind of simulation?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have its infection cycle
Okay.
because we have video of it.
The one thing you don't have, however, is you don't actually know. You know that the payload is uniform, but you don't actually know anything about the payload.
Yeah, so we have to figure that out first. I guess. Yep.
Because if that's what you want to attack, that's the only thing that's the thing that you haven't looked at yet.
So.
If we're gonna, which means we're gonna need to take a virus apart and see what makes it tick, which means we're gonna have to interact with this thing much more directly.
Yep.
I'm thinking, honestly, ideally, I'm thinking to use Lieutenant Ijula's words, a box in space, independent, freestanding structure, where if the worst happens, it's not connected to anything.
So like one of those like cut off underwater labs kind of thing, but in space.
Exactly. Space Lab 2021.
We could also use the holodeck to help try and come up with a solution. Create a simulation of both the virus and a holographic, non-conscious being for it to be injected to, so we can try different antivirals and see if they work.
Sure, if we have the data, we could program a thing like that.
Right.
I think we have a lot of it. We have the information on the prions. We sort of know the payload.
We know what it does and how fast it works. I mean, right now, after running this test, we really need only a couple more puzzle pieces, which we could probably infer from the test.
We can certainly try. I mean, right now the virus seems to be secure, so until we have to open it up and dig more, let's see what we can dig out with the data we have.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna do a little bit more looking into the virus then?
Yep.
Okay, in this case, I'd actually like Nurse Sullivan to make this roll. I'd like you to make an Insight Medicine difficulty 1.
I'm guessing xenobiology won't help here.
No, it won't. I've seen your focuses, none of them apply.
Task roll 2, complication range 1, no focus.
Actually, I am going to spend 2 threat to increase the complication range by 1.
Okay.
Oh, and wasn't the next roll about this going to be?
Yes, so it is actually difficulty 2.
But reduced by the Hadfields.
Medicine, right?
Yes, I will say that you can use the advanced medical suites to decrease the difficulty by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Sweet.
of any tasks related to the virus from here on out. I will allow that.
Sweet. Nice.
Mm-hmm. So, you get a momentum, and from what you can tell, Nurse Sullivan, that out of all of your studies, out of everything you've ever read in any medical journal ever, and your own personal experiences with viruses, this genetic package inside this virus is the most insidious thing you have ever seen.
She's going to
This
close her eyes.
is a
Breathe
virus.
in.
This is a virus that once it manages to find a lock and get itself attached to a nerve cell, it will cause the entire nervous system of the person it's in to shut down immediately. Almost instantaneous death. It is a monster of a genome sequence. And somebody made it.
And she just sort of breathes in, breathes out, and goes, okay. Whatever this thing is, I hate it first. This thing is going to instantly shut down the nervous of anyone who touches it. Like, the moment it starts, you are dead.
Am I present here?
I say so, yeah.
I ask, is this what Kirby was working on? Referring to the doctor from the last mission with the kids.
The secret research.
Yeah, the one where we're not cleared to look at anything. Did we recover any samples from that lab?
No, you did not.
Yeah, I think she had sold all of them and her fellow researchers to the Orions, right?
Okay, well there were other viruses there, but I'll tell you right now, none of those match. None of those come even close to this. They were trying to cure naturally occurring diseases. This is something constructed to kill. This is bullet with a steel tip.
It's like the quickening, but quicker.
It's a Ryzen ball.
A rising ball?
Yep. Ricin is the only poison for which there is no antidote.
Well, if someone can make the thing, someone else can make a counter to it, says Blackwell.
I wonder if Kirby already did.
Well, we can definitely contact the Vice Admiral Cowrog and see if he can get clearance for at least some of us to view it in this case. I mean, talk about a threat to the Federation. It's worth a shot. It's a good thought, Ajula.
Did you say Kerr?
No, Kirby.
Kirby. K-A-R-B-Y.
What?
As in Dr. Matty Kirby.
Sorry, you cut off at the B-Y part. I was confused.
So I will call Commander Jacoby.
Jacoby here.
Commander, Lieutenant Ajula mentioned that what ship are you from? Are you Kismet? Yes. That the Kismet ran into a secret Federation research facility that was digging into all sorts of nasty viruses and such. That information's been classified beyond our level to reach it. However, in the current circumstances, we believe there's a possibility it might help us crack the current viral problem we're finding. Could you try and get us, at least Dr. Sterix and I, access to the medical and viral information from those research facilities?
Let me see what I can do from here, Doctor. If I can't manage it from here, I'll give the Vice Admiral a call. See what he says.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, computer, authorize Dr. Sam Blackwell and Dr. Sterix to access confidential medical logs. Authorization code Jacoby Alpha 30.
You are not able to get access. These files require level 11 access.
Mother
These
of
files go
God.
up to 11.
Very well. Chief Bisbee, hail the Vice Admiral, if you will, please.
And after a couple seconds, Calrog shows up on screen. What do you need, Commander Jacoby?
I need level 11 access, sir.
Why?
To look at the Serix logs, sir.
Not Serix. The
Then?
The records are covered from a research laboratory investigated by the Kismet.
Aha, to access the Kismet's logs about the disease.
You're talking about the research facility. Well, I'll see what I can do. I should be able to get you access. I don't know if you'll find anything useful in there, though.
We can try.
Understood. Vice Admiral Calrog out.
Okay.
And then a few seconds after you hang up, the ops terminal says, Commander Jacoby, we are getting a advisory bulletin from Narendra Station. The USS Sarek is disgorging all of her non-essential personnel and is preparing to undock.
Interesting. Okay.
Should we hail them?
Yes. Hail the Sarek, please.
All right. After a few seconds, the screen comes up, and there is someone you have not seen before. You have not seen before, Commander Jacoby. Sitting in the captain's chair is a man who looks to be about your age, maybe a little bit, maybe even a few years younger than you.
I remember this part.
He has sort of a clean-cut, cleanly styled red hair, coppery red hair, and he has the 4 captain's pips. Says, "This is Captain Harmon Grennan. How can I help?"
This is Commander Lawrence Jacoby of the USS Hadfield. We have just received a bulletin that you are disparaging all your non-essential personnel and What's going on, Captain?
We're being sent on a diplomatic mission. Admiral Hebert thinks that we need more allies for what's going on, and frankly, I agree with her. I can't go into too many details right now as to what we're doing, but I assure you, the secrecy is required.
I see. While I have you on the line, I don't suppose you could tell me a few.
A few things? About what?
About this disease we're trying to uncover. Do you know anything about the Kismet and the things that it found in a research station? I'm not quite familiar with it because it requires high levels of authentication, so maybe you know.
Oh, yeah. We encountered that a couple weeks ago. It was quite confusing. Lot of virals that we weren't able to take a look at. As far as I can tell, though, not a lot of it is related to what's going on right now. It's more so that it was the team itself on the planet that the Orions wanted.
I see. Could I still ask you a favor, Captain?
Of course.
Could you ask your security officer to forward any and all data you may have found to my science officer, because I do not think that we'll receive proper authorization from Starfleet Command in time. And time is quite of the essence, Captain.
Yeah, I'll ping over to the Kismet right before we warp out and have them do that. I'll have them do that.
Thank you, Captain. Best of luck on your diplomatic mission. I'm sure you'll do swell.
Thank you. Sarek out. And the comm line cuts.
Right. Jacoby to Dr. Blackwell. Doc, you should be receiving some documents. just gotten in touch with the Kismet's captain.
Hmm. So after maybe a good minute, the reports start to come in. And by the way, for you on the bridge, Commander Jacoby, where is it? Where is it? After a few seconds, the Sarek warps out of out of Narendra Station.
Hmm. Very good. I am jealous.
So, you look over the files, and yeah, there's quite a bit here. It looks like the Kismet was called in to check on some missing scientists, and they found one of them, Dr. Maddie Kirby, and Azula would be able to fill you in on this as well. That Maddie Kirby turned out to be a traitor. She had sold out her research team to what we now determine to be the Orions for purposes unknown. Additionally recovered was a device very much like the one that you lost when you were captured.
Ah, the old DNA resequencer or whatever it was.
The ribonic extrapolator.
That's the thing.
Yep. You see a picture of one of those attached to the report.
Question. We had 3 on board the Sarek. Would the doctor have just brought one?
I'll say you can have brought one along. Sure.
I mean, we literally bought 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
May I use the restroom?
Go ahead. Sure.
Okay, Chief Bisbee, forward this over to Dr. Sterix and Dr. Blackwell, respect.
Yeah, that's... And they get this information.
And yeah, okay, Doc, you're on your... I've done everything I could. If you need any additional help, tell me. I can come down and maybe we can brainstorm a bit. I don't know how much I can help, but I can maybe do something.
Will do, Captain.
Okay.
So how do you think the ribonic extrapolator fits into all this? Why are they translating things into DNA code?
Honestly, I wish I knew. I didn't have a chance to look at it because before I could get down to the science lab, well, you read the reports and saw the video. So, I haven't actually had a chance to look at this thing.
Would
Well,
you
you're welcome
like...
to use one of our labs.
Yes. Lieutenant Ajula,
Sir.
do you mind helping me with this? The engineering concepts might be a bit much. I really didn't pay attention in engineering classes.
Very well, sir. What do you need me to do?
Well, basically, I'm asking you to just help me figure out how this box works.
Oh,
Okay.
well,
Am
how the
I
box...
physically present?
Well, how the box works is something that you guys already sort of know about.
Well, what we wanted to know is how that connects to the virus. Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's at the point where you guys can actually sort of figure it out, but it relies on a piece of information that people on the Hadfield know. It's a connection that you guys have to make.
What was that last part again?
There's a connection that you guys on the Hadfield have to make. I'm not going to give it to you. but
Sorry, I just came back. Between what?
there's a connection that they have to make about the ribonic extrapolator that was recovered by the Kismet, and things will start to make sense.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm an idiot.
How so?
Starix doesn't know this, but as a player, I'm a freaking idiot.
Oh, okay.
Because if these things came from where I think they came from, I know what they were used for, or what they were needed for.
As a quick reminder, what does the ribonic extrapolator do?
Ribonic extrapolators are these small little red cubes, about the size of a bread box. They're covered in these sort of vacuum tube-like protrusions. They're not vacuum tubes, they're just sort of these glass tubes that pop out of them. And they were first encountered by the USS Hadfield when they were exploring an Orion asteroid field base. And they take in information and convert it into a readout on the front that is genetic code.
Hey, was the machine planet in the area where the music transmissions were coming from?
Music transmissions?
If you remember the first adventure I was on.
Oh, yes. The give me a reason science check. Difficulty 2.
Hey, you're slowly starting to get where I'm going.
Or Azula can do this, actually.
Yeah, probably so. My science is only 3.
Assisted by the ship's, I'll say computers con, or computers science.
Reason science, you said?
Yep, reason science.
Assisted by the computer science.
Of that momentum.
You get a momentum. The answer is yes.
So how much momentum are we on right now? Are we on 4 or 3? Because Nurse Sullivan also has 3 momentum, and I'm not sure.
My character sheet said I had 2, and I'm not sure if that's just left over from.
Oh, it might be just left over then. Yeah, then I'm keeping track. So we got.
So yeah, the answer is yes. I mean, it's not an exact match, but it is not out of the realm of possibility. And there's only one problem with it though. Is that the distance from the planet to the asteroid field is farther than should be typical of a transmission. Subspace transmissions typically need repeaters in between them in order to bounce the signal around. There are no such repeaters in between this planet and the asteroid field.
But
So you're saying that's where it originates from?
It was just kind of a stab in the dark because the music was what was being translated by the ribonic extrapolator. We ran into a pair of binars who were feeding in the data from the music, or I don't know what they exactly were translating music into, probably basic mathematics, and then that would be fed into the ribonic extrapolator, which then would come up with usually 2 pairs, either CGTA, one or some combination of the 2. So are they programming the virus?
Are they in custody? Can we ask them?
Who?
The binars in question.
They were enslaved. We freed them.
Yeah, they had no idea what was going on. They were just running the machines.
I can tell you how destructive this virus is, though. It's wiped out an entire planet.
Oof.
It has?
Yes. Because when we scanned the planet again after we left and after Deck 14, no life on the planet. And it had, like, 15,000 or 150,000 people or something on it. Gone.
Mm-hmm.
Full society. Just, yeah, no life.
Well, and we are dealing with a existential threat to not just the Federation, but probably also the Klingons and perhaps even the Romulans. This is way too similar to the attempt by General Fool using another machine race to infiltrate replicators throughout the Federation and end the Federation by the simple expedient of ending its member species.
And I don't know if this would help, but he would also mention that they, and he's got a hold of the box, and he's like, they viewed these as, like, religious items?
The Orions?
No, the people that were on that planet that the virus wiped out. That's where we got ours.
Okay.
The one right here. I don't know how that's relevant, but maybe it'll help a little.
They revered them as religious icons.
Yeah, they said they were given to them by... to be fair, I honestly don't remember. But I know they were selling them. Couldn't have been that holy of an item.
Mm-hmm. Now, actually, Dr. Blackwell,
Mhm.
as you look at the ribonic extrapolator that Dr. Sterix is holding in front of you, there's something a little different about this one.
This looks different than the one we recovered from the Orions.
There is no display on this one.
Hmm.
Instead, there's just a small little hole.
Have we tested it out to see if it worked?
I can only hypothesize that it does.
If you want to give it a look, that'd be a reason engineering check difficulty 2.
Yes. We haven't fired it up since we brought it back to the ship, but the assumption is yes, we know they work because these were what was behind the force field.
Reason engineering. Is this something you want me to do?
Yes, please.
And
Lieutenant.
or is it safe to do
Okay.
it here?
Would a replicator focus apply here?
Yes.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, I do too.
You succeed, and as I had just said, instead of a display, it would appear that this device has been modified, probably at its construction, to function as a rudimentary replicator system.
Okay, nobody
that's
plugged that into anything.
In that case, these might be these could have been used to deliver a virus. Although
That is the hypothesis we're going on. Although I did not know this was a replicator, I just assumed that it translated and transmitted into our system.
Well, but consider that the are they nucleoids? Yeah, of DNA are the building blocks for everything. So if you transmit the information of what you want, it translates it into the basic building blocks, and then can function everything from tea Earl Grey hot to metalloceramics. Ooh, I said metalloceramics. So is that what we're dealing with somehow? Nucleic acids, that's what word I was trying to think of.
This might actually make making a vaccine a little easier, actually.
How so?
Why not use the same technology that the virus maker used?
Fair enough, if that's what's happening. Too many unknowns still. Trying to figure out what other connection we might be missing from the information we have. So transmission was coming maybe from the planet, but over a much longer distance than would usually be possible without some sort of relays, but no relays were present.
Unless the whole planet is a relay.
There's that.
You have a relay big enough, you don't need boosters.
It takes in information that was in musical form,
Mm-hmm.
spits it out as
DNA code.
DNA code, nucleic acids. This one is designed, instead of putting up that on the screen, I guess would be to replicate the associated acids.
That's the thought we're going on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm used to thinking.
Oh yeah,
aloud.
no,
I'm feeling kind of stuck.
I kind of
So,
want to.
this box knows how to make the virus, right?
Maybe.
One would assume.
What if we just look that up and we can reverse engineer that process, and by that way figure out how to create an antidote? Just figure out an opposite.
Well, as I said, it doesn't have any internal storage of its own.
Okay.
It takes in information from an external source, whatever that external source may be, and
It's
then
a 3D printer.
Yeah, fundamentally.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take that from you.
Oh, and Sullivan, I did send you something
Okay.
that you might find worth asking about.
So, I gotta ask about this machine planet, actually. What exactly happened with it? Like, I haven't heard anything about this in any of the other reports I've seen.
And there is a reason why.
Yeah. Upon hearing that the lieutenant was not properly filled in, he pulls up the declassified logs of the Azure.
Mm.
And sorry, as a member of the crew, I will just tell you what you saw in the log, so you don't have to read them.
Yeah.
Basically, there was this AI that was controlling a planet of pods, essentially, and drones, numerous drones. And the Azure had to go in and get back its captain, its doctor, and its chief of security, and a few other crew members that were taken by this AI to help augment its system power, like its memory power. And so the engineer goes and, goes in there, does this whole thing, and now she hates the Federation because he may have inadvertently killed the entirety of the species she was told to protect.
That's
By the
she
way,
just-
I'm the character that pushed the button. The player pushed the button.
she just sort of looks for something to sit down in. Do you think there might be? How does that connect to this?
Well, we're pretty sure the AI has a real hate on for the Federation because of it, and may be playing tit for tat. You wipe out all ours, we wipe out all yours.
And Blackwell, I'll say it right now, you can think of a definite connection between this planet and the Orions.
I'm feeling stupid.
If you think back to the start of that last episode,
Azure Sky.
no, the start of that last episode, how did you find the thing?
The Ribonic
No,
extrapolator?
no. The probe.
The pod, the probe from us. I say us, but
Oh, that's right. The Hadfield picked up a. We learned about the Azure from this probe the Hadfield found that had been drifting in space for 120 some years. The Hadfield, the Azure had fired it to examine the planet, and the Orions were out looking for it and in force to the point where they tried to attack the Hadfield with a couple of fighters.
Specifically, they referred to it as a loose end.
That's right. Well, I thought they referred to the Hadfield as a loose end. Either way,
funny story about that. That whole mission took place before I actually fired the pod.
Mhm.
Or probe.
Hmm.
I had no forethought. It was just an idea that came to my head in the moment.
So, what if we go back to that planet?
I'm afraid because by now Varro and them would have gotten back. Obviously.
Yeah. Or actually, no, that's going on right now. Currently, Starfleet has a team going to that planet right now.
Yeah.
They might have
so,
info we are missing.
Well, by this point, you have received the intelligence reports.
yeah, that's how we got the sample of virus.
Or no, that's not how you got the sample of virus. It's
No.
how you got the transmission frequencies that the planet's using.
Right. So I think that the fact that the Orions were looking for the probe and referred to it as a loose end tells us that the Orions, well, and plus the Ribonic extrapolator, being on the Orion base, I think the Orions and the machine planet or the AI are in on this together. Now, that might mean that Orions are immune to the virus.
I mean, if they helped make it, they'd want to be immune.
Right, assuming the AI wants them to be immune too.
I have a thought.
Mm.
Okay, so here's my thought, GM.
Mhm.
I want to run a simulation
Yes.
because I came from the Sarek. The Sarek got the medical files of the Imgen. I would like to run Kerr's DNA against the virus, and not against it, like, comparing it, but I want to see what happens.
Running the
Running a test. What if Kerr caught the virus?
Okay, reason medicine difficulty 1.
Kerr's what? Tellurite?
Yes. Genetics as a focus.
Yep, I will allow this.
I'm going to spend a momentum. Just in case I get a complication, I can always re-roll it.
Oh my
Just
god.
waiting. Or
Nice.
I could just roll like a G.
Or you crush it. How much momentum is that?
Or
I'm gonna spend 2 threat to negate 2 of your momentum.
Oh wow, we can't do that when you get threat. That's cool.
Yeah, but I'm the game master, so screw you.
Okay.
He's just mad because I could ask questions that would break the game.
The answer to that question actually is no. You see no correlation.
Alright, so he's gonna die just the same.
Well,
Fair enough.
not as far as you can tell.
Why don't we run it against Orion DNA?
I'll let
Yeah.
you spend a momentum to not even have to roll.
All right. Fine.
Yeah.
Orions will be affected by this too.
Hmm.
What the
Well, that's
hell?
odd. Maybe it
I
just
don't
wants
think.
to
Do you think the
wipe
Orions
out
know
all.
that?
I'm sorry, what? You're very faint.
Do you think the Orions actually know that?
That's what I'm wondering, if the AI is telling them one thing and the reality is something else.
Well, to be fair, they're Orions. If the money's good enough, they don't care.
However, if they don't know, that
The
might
Orion
be...
aren't Ferengi, and even then, they would have some sense of self-preservation.
That's fair.
So either they don't know, and we have some leverage to use with them with this information, or they do know that the virus would affect them, but they have come up with an effective countermeasure.
Obviously, we're not going to be able to just ask them.
So, what would you guys like to actually work on next?
Here's what we know. Something might have transmitted to the ribonic extrapolator to create the virus. It doesn't store anything on itself, but maybe there's some way we can look through a record to at least see where something is coming from and try to intercept it and try to reverse engineer a signal.
Well, that's the thing. You've already got the signal. The
Yeah.
security team provided that for you.
Oh, right. Sorry.
And you know where the signal is coming from.
If not exactly, we don't know.
Well, you know
it's
where
coming from the planet definitely, but we know that we know the area of space it's coming from, and the planet kind of fits in that area.
Let's see. I don't know. I think Dr. Starks would be trying to rip that RNA line apart of the virus. Just rip it apart.
Mm-hmm.
See what makes it tick.
Okay.
Not physically,
Well,
obviously.
I think Ajula should probably work on the transmission now,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
that's the reason he was here.
You know, I'll let you do that. I'd like Azula to work on the transmission stuff right now.
Maybe.
Okay.
Fair enough.
How are you planning on tackling this, Azula?
So, what do we know about these transmissions so far, and what are we trying to find out?
You know so far that the transmissions have been generally encoded, and at the end of them, through translation, they come up with genetic code.
Okay, have we broken the code yet?
Not currently.
Well, I have a decryption focus. Let's do that right now.
Alrighty. That'll be a reason, engineering, or security, difficulty 3.
Okay, how much momentum do we have?
3.
3. Is it assisted by the ship, Granite?
Yeah, I'll allow it to assist with its computers and security or engineering.
Okay, I'm buying extra die with momentum.
Okay, you got it. Computer security.
Nice.
Hey, we got it.
Okay.
Whammy.
Computers engineering, you said, right?
Yep. See if you get any momentum. You do.
Yes, we
Alright.
do.
So,
Feedback, right?
so yeah, as it stands, it's not exactly so much that you're able to decrypt it. Actually, no. Yeah, you're able to more or less decrypt the code that the Orions are using, and figure out how it breaks down into genetic code. thanks to the fact that you have the ribonic extrapolator on you.
I'd like to help try and figure out that RNA code as well. Just, we know what it does, and if we have the RNA code, we might be able to work out something. But the
But
issue
what?
comes in with the prion. I still think... I don't want to say this, but I still think the nanomachine might work best. Or as a temporary, immediate measure. And we can keep that information classified, so... and pretend it's some sort of new viral antidote made up to pretend, in case anyone hears about it, they, you know...
So, would you like to just think about how to do a nanotech solution? This would
That's definitely also an engineering thing. I don't think
Yeah.
any of us are prepared to work with any sort of
be
tiny machine.
reason engineering for this one, difficulty 2.
I'd like to use momentum.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you a die.
Oh no, I have... And I would like the ship's help from this.
I'm gonna say no, because this is you just running some numbers in your head.
Sorry, getting used to... getting used to this.
Mm-hmm.
Complication range 1, no focus, task roll 3.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Reason engineering.
Do you have cautious or anything like that? You could re-roll one of those zeros if
Well,
you had cautious.
so here's what I'm gonna tell you. I'm actually gonna make this succeed at cost. So, you succeeded the check, but here's the complication. From what you can reckon, you could essentially make something that could scan for the viral sequence and try to knock them out before they get to the body. The problem is, in order to make... You don't have the resources to make enough nanobots for that to be effective. Like, even on the scale of the ship itself, like the Hadfield or the Kismet or whatever, you couldn't make enough nanobots to combat this thing, to say less of a larger planet, or even bigger.
What if we make them self-replicating? To start with, maybe it could feed on the virus itself, create more of itself.
I'll say that with the complication I have created, that problem is a bit of a non-starter.
So right now, that is a solution, but we don't have the means to implement.
Actually, more so the complication is me saying, nah, that's not really gonna work.
Okay.
Like,
So-
that's what I'm trying to gently get at with that complication.
How about you toss them one of them brainstorming thingies, Grennan? See how that works out. Maybe
Please, no.
we had a decent one, and
No,
like
Oh man. Oh man.
you wouldn't even accept it as a direct order.
So, I suppose the question is, what do you want to work on now? Would you like to continue working on the transmission stuff, or would you rather work on something else?
What? So you said Jula managed to translate the transmission. What did it say?
I mean, it's just genetic code. He's cracked the cipher. Is all that he's done.
Can I plug that
Can I
genetic code into the MedLab computers and have it run a simulation as to what you get with that code?
Yeah, this we should simulate.
I kind of want to take a look at it too.
Mhm.
I have a focus in genetics.
But maybe you should put it in then.
I mean, well, there isn't even going to be a role for this. It's more of the code that you have seen. It's elements of the viral code.
Okay.
Not complete, but it's elements of it. And I mean, this is pieced together from various transmissions,
Right.
gathered by Starfleet over the past couple months.
And these were all the same kind of weird, almost musical sounding transmissions that we heard when we first went to investigate the Orion base, or
Yeah.
okay.
Huh. Wait, so what you're telling me is I have enough partial pieces of this virus to just piece it together in the computer?
Well, again, it's not that easy because there are uncountable
Obviously.
permutations of this virus.
But a basic version of it.
Yeah, you got like maybe a version.
It's a
Or
start.
it's more so like you now know the building blocks. You now know the building blocks, but you have no idea. Like there are so many ways those building blocks can go together.
Yeah. 4 nucleic acids, infinite combinations, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
It's
oh, yeah.
slightly larger version of that, slightly larger
Yeah.
scale, but that's the idea.
Okay, and the Orions referred to that probe as a loose end.
Maybe this was a mistake of theirs.
How so? What do you mean?
A loose end. Maybe this wasn't really meant to be used, or they discovered it would work on Orions as well, and we're starting to make motions to shut everything down. But
No.
It ended-
The loose end was the probe.
They
Okay,
wanted
so-
to squash that. I guess either the Federation had been there before, or that the Federation had stopped the AI before.
Yeah, as a player, I know something, but that only Commander Jacoby really knows about how badly the Federation wanted that planet's location quashed.
Yeah, but like there isn't anything else that I can at least recall because like I wrote to you, I have this.
Well,
Yeah, but you're the only one who actually saw General Order 7X, is what I'm saying. You never
No,
revealed
we
that to
all
the rest of
did.
the crew.
no.
Oh, okay.
We
He
all
was
did.
the only-
It's all declassified.
Oh, okay.
Yes, that's all declassified now because
Okay,
shortly after that mission on the Hadfield, shortly after that mission on the Hadfield, I'll tell you how this basically works. Is that a few admirals got to talking, and even though Picard with his influence wasn't able to do anything, with enough admirals behind it, they managed to exert enough pressure that they got those half a dozen logs declassified.
hmm
Yeah, along with the general order from Admiral Marcus.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we do have access to all that now.
Mm-hmm.
Like there wouldn't be anything else which leads me to any clues except maybe like there was that one thing which we tried to extract from the probe. It was actually that name of the scientist, wasn't it, Grennan? If I'm remembering correctly, Dr. Maddie. And that was pretty much it, if I recall correctly. I might be completely.
I think you're misremembering.
I'm definitely misremembering something, and I cannot for the life of me recall. So throw me a bone, please, and remind me in private messages or like this what it was.
no, I don't remember what specifically you're asking about.
There was something that we found digging around that. Something.
You intimated that there was some information that those of us on the Hadfield should know.
We're trying to wonder what that bit of information is because I'm trying to rack my brain around.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Is the existence of the machine planet.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That was way back before you guys started talking about the machine planet, and I was like, they need to start talking about the machine planet.
Okay.
Because they're dancing around it.
Okay.
I thought that was a solution to this problem that only we knew, and it's like, oh my god, I'm trying to remember what it.
Yeah, no, and it was like, before this, they were the only ones who had been there before. So.
Right. Okay, so the machine planet is sending. I think they're designing the viruses, but why are they sending this information onto the Orions? Of course, they were sending it to an Orion facility that had manufacturing capabilities. So, and then the drone ships were transmitting, which made the Kismet replicators produce this virus.
No,
Was that right?
You mean the Sarek?
Sarek, sorry.
was the
I
Sarek,
couldn't remember which ship. Sorry.
You're good.
So,
Deck 14 will forever be remembered.
man, I don't know exactly what we're missing, but I feel like we're missing a big chunk that's probably right in front of us.
This
There's
is exactly why we should implement that system, Grant.
There's something we're missing. There's something. Yeah, there's something obvious, like some missing piece.
Mm-hmm. Let me think.
Could we give you some momentum for a missing piece?
I think you have actually sort of discussed the answer already. And it actually is in the form of something that Commander Jacoby heard from Starfleet Command.
I'm sorry, what? Right now in this session?
No, before. It is something that you heard from Captain Picard. In fact, the reason he called you.
For crying out loud, Doc Blackwell, did you write this down? Computer replay chat log.
Okay, we got permission from Picard to start research on a filtering device for the
Specifically,
replicators.
He contacted you because he was agreeing with your assessment.
Right.
Bingo. There you go.
And remember what your assessment was as to what the Orions were trying to do.
They were trying to pull a Thule virus attack.
And what was the Thule virus attack?
A replicator-born virus. The replicators churn out both in food, but also in aerosol form and airborne form, viral particles.
Mm-hmm.
And then that just goes everywhere. But the Thule virus, of course, took it to the next level because he was working with the I forget the name of the machine race that and a powerful AI that could hack into pretty much every system in the Federation.
It's kind of exactly what we're going through right now.
Yeah, at the same time, and it would all happen at once all across the Federation. And then Picard, although we don't know this as characters, we do know that that group hasn't reported back yet, I don't think. No, wait, that was Vero's group, because the pilot, Joker, overheard or was talking with some Orions saying something about Federation spies stopped it the last time around, which is why the Thule virus didn't happen.
Yes, that is something that you would have. You would have access to that information
Right.
because of the fact that Captain Picard agreed with your assessment. You would get access to that info.
Right. So, Picard and Mac. I can't remember Mac's full name, and the crew of the Excalibur had a large part to do with stopping Thul's plans. So, I mean, yeah, it's great that he agrees with our assessment. My recommendation was that we create a standalone filter system for the replicators, which keeps them from spewing out the virus. And since it's standalone, can't be hacked into like ships' computers can.
So what I actually want Jula to do is I want you to make me a reason engineering difficulty 2 check. And I'll spend 2 threat to increase the complication range by 1 again.
Okay, reason engineering difficulty 2, you said.
Yes.
Assisted by the computer? No, probably
And
not.
the complication range is 2, you said?
Yes.
Why don't you take a momentum?
Yeah, I'll take a momentum by an extra die. Would any of my focuses apply here? Sensors, transporters, replicators, encryption, decryption, quantum mechanics.
What was that first one?
Sensor systems and transporters and replicators were the first 2.
The second one. Yes, I will allow the second one to count. Okay, so here's what you actually, like, as you're looking over the numbers on the screen, if it were a snake, it would have bitten you about half an hour ago. When you were first figuring out the frequencies. These frequencies is part of it's part of a set. There's a set of frequencies that this one sort of falls into. But from what you're guessing, this is probably the optimal one for what they're trying to do, but they could use others. This frequency is a carrier band for replicators.
As in instructions for them on what to produce and how?
Yes. If you could produce a signal with high enough amplitude, you wouldn't need to hack the replicators.
Meaning you could just send the signal directly to them and they would do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you told them to. So, is our solution here to devise a I don't know, something to cancel out that signal or to keep replicators from responding to that signal?
All right. That is something you could certainly try to do. And it would be an extended task. So,
Dun, dun, dun.
so we are now actually entering the next scene of this episode.
Oh, we're down to 1 momentum.
Yep. So what is going to happen here is we are actually going to alternate between 2 groups. And Jacoby can feel free to help out with this if he wants.
I would botch things up.
Mm-hmm. So the trick of this is that we're going to have 2 groups working at the same time. One group trying to work out how to take care of the virus, and the other group trying to work out what you can do with the transmission and how you can botch the transmission for them.
I'll work on the virus team if that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Now, the first. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to ask, are we breaking it into teams of 2? Because if so, out of all of us, I think I could help Azula.
Yeah, you're right on that. My engineering is...
Well, if I could make them science rolls, because my science is 4.
You could make an argument for it, but before we start, I do want to do one thing. I do want to start out actually on the bridge really quick. We're gonna start out on the bridge, just super duper quick. Move the scene up there. So you're at the you're in your seat Commander Jacoby, when the person at Ops, it's Biss, right?
Yes.
Biss turns to you and says, Commander, we have, I think, 7 vessels entering range of Narendra Station.
What? On screen.
On screen, you see a set of 7 vessels, and they don't look like anything you have ever seen before, because they don't look like ships in that they aren't made of metal.
Computer, magnify and analyze.
Magnify and enhance.
Magnify and enhance. The screen zooms in on them, and you can see, catching brilliant starlight off of them, are 7 ships that appear to be made of beautiful, multicolored crystal.
Computer analysis.
The analysis that the system kicks back to you is that these ships' designs are, the ship's composition is, consistent with that of the Zarkonian life form.
The Zarkonian life form is the big crystal thing that swallowed the entire. Well, wanted to swallow the entire.
Nope, that's not what this is.
Oh, remind me then. Give me a quick reminder.
If you had read the logs from the Kismet, the Zarkonians are the crystalline energy race that the USS Kismet encountered a number of months ago. The Federation almost went to war with them, but thanks to some quick actions of Captain Grennan and Captain Starrick's, war was avoided and a peace treaty was pounded out.
Yeah, then they screwed up. Yeah, they screwed over one of my science officers.
I see. Okay. Ensign
We don't
Biss.
talk about that mission.
Yellow alert.
Well, let's hope they're part of that making friends and allies mission.
Yellow alert. Keep watching them. Let's see what they.
I don't think the Zarkonians will hurt us. We managed to come to some sort of agreement last time I saw them.
Yeah, or your opponent, some sort of big plan of theirs.
And after about 2 minutes, they just sort of pull up around Narendra Station, and they just stop. And Biss turns to you and says, "We are getting communications traffic between the Zarkonian vessels and Narendra Station."
Can we listen in?
Yeah, it appears that they're being given clearance to go to stations keeping at Narendra.
I guess there's nothing out of the ordinary here then. Take us down from yellow.
Mm-hmm. You go down from Yellow Alert.
Okay, before we start the extended task, I'm going to take a quick biological break. I'll be right back.
Go ahead. In that case, we'll start with the other half of the extended tasks.
Yay.
Who's the other half? Is that the, which one is that?
Jula and the doctor, I would assume.
Okay, so you're gonna start working on the, you're gonna start working on this. So, this is going to be, a reason engineering difficulty 5 check. Work track of 13, magnitude 3, with a resistance of 2.
Is this brought down by anything from the ship by any chance?
Let me see. The ship does get to assist with.
And the ship should bring down the difficulty to a 4, correct?
The ship will assist with its computers, science, or engineering.
Okay.
I think we need to create an advantage here. I think this is too steep.
There is one other thing. Oh, never mind. It's not relevant here, because you won't be obtaining more information.
So, Doctor, you'll be doing the main role, right?
I can, yes. Although, we're dealing with the transmission, right?
Mm-hmm. You're trying to figure a way to crack the transmission.
Then Ajula gets the main role, and Ajula, here's another momentum so you can get through.
Well, I was going to give my reason for science.
I will allow science.
Back.
I was about to algorithm the shit out of this.
Nope, I will allow science. I will allow engineering or science to be the role for this.
Is that okay with you? Because I'm okay burning a determination.
What's your determination?
Help where you can when you can. Or since we're trying to save a bunch of people, sentient life is precious.
I don't think those will count for this particular situation.
Really?
You know what?
Alright, that's fine.
This is a big career challenge, so I think that it makes sense to use the on a shakedown cruise to the new me value and bring out a determination.
It's fine.
I will allow sometimes an Ajula doesn't think, they just act.
Even though this is all about
Well,
thinking.
no, actually no, because this is all about thinking. Never mind.
So shakedown cruise, we're testing my abilities here.
I'll allow it.
Go ahead. I will make the assist roll.
And I will make the assist roll as well.
Okay, how many dice am I rolling here?
Just the 2.
And yeah, I'll allow Commander Jacoby to assist if he wishes.
I will roll the ship, not as my character.
Actually, let me see what
Spend
you've
the
got.
2 momentum for a third dice. That way you're.
It's
technically
1
rolling for-
momentum for a third die.
No, because
One
you
for the
it's
first,
two.
2 for the second.
It's because you
2
bought.
because of determination.
Yeah, when you buy determination, the way it works is it essentially means you buy a die that automatically rolls a 1.
Yeah, but no momentum is spent. It's entirely independent.
That is correct, but you have bought a die, and the cost of die goes up the more you buy.
Yeah, so basically, instead of it counting as you buying 1, you're buying your 4th dice instead of your 3rd dice.
So 2 momentum goes through. Yep, let's do
Yep.
it. So roll 3 dice. The ship will assist, and Dr. Sterix will assist.
Don't forget, Jacoby, you have advisor.
I do, but I'm on the bridge.
Oh well.
So I think you need to advise Dr. Sterix here. We're having a problem.
Yeah. RNG's just decided nope.
Oh yeah, sure. I'll advise Dr. Sterix then.
Yep.
So we have, not counting the ship, we have 6 successes on my end, correct?
Well, hang on.
It's now
First, Jacoby has to assist with his Jacoby has to assist with his, I think it's presence command. Or
I think it just gives me a reroll.
huh?
I think advisor just gives me a reroll.
Yeah, but he has to assist first, I think. I think he actually has to assist you.
Here you go.
Yep, okay.
It's done.
And the ship?
Yeah, my bad. Going through.
That's 8 so far. 9.
That's
We generate 4 momentum.
Wow, that is actually that is close to the record.
The record is 11.
Yes, it is. I know it was 11 because I was part of that roll.
Oh no, I think we had another one that was close to it.
Oh, okay. So,
We
anyhow,
definitely got a breakthrough though. I think,
well,
right?
you don't necessarily have a breakthrough, but
No, 5 or more successes is automatically a breakthrough. Read the rules.
Well, that's not. No, you have to roll work on the work track. You succeeded at the
Oh yeah,
check.
challenge dice. Yeah.
Now you have to do challenge dice, and there is a resistance of 2 on this, and a work track
So-
of 13.
Roll challenge dice, Ajula. How much does he roll again?
2 plus is engineering, so 6. 6 challenge dice.
Roll 6 challenge dice.
And make sure you hit enter before you roll them, because sometimes the sheet can be finicky.
Got it.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you spend one of your momentum, you can get piercing and ignore the 2 resistance, and that will be a breakthrough.
There you go.
Okay,
That's a
we'll do it.
breakthrough.
Mm-hmm. So you have achieved a breakthrough, 1 out of 3. You have figured that there is a way that well, actually, the first thing that you've figured is that if you have a planet of this size, putting out a signal that strong you're not that it would be able to affect all of the replicators in the Federation. You wouldn't be able to stop that signal. So that's your first breakthrough out of 3.
Okay.
Now we roll the same thing again.
Only
Yeah.
now, because you got a breakthrough, it's difficulty 4 now. And, well, if you spend momentum on it, you will have essentially, because you're gonna have essentially 3 assists on this.
Yeah, here's another momentum, Majula. So go roll 3 dice again, please, and then we will all.
And there is a reroll in there. Oh, wow, nice. Now the rest of this
No
is
need
just...
for that reroll.
Yeah, well, it's if Sterix or...
Ha ha. Yeah.
Or
yeah.
the ship.
Nice.
Wait, the ship.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 2 momentum.
Good.
Uh-huh. So...
Roll the same 6 dice,
yeah.
Jula.
6 challenge dice, you said?
6 challenge dice. That's the one.
Oh.
Oh,
2, 4,
that's
6.
a 2, 4, 6?
7.
7, 8.
So that brings it down to 6. You don't even have to spend anything.
Remember
Another
this in my
breakthrough.
next performance
In
eval.
fact, actually, that's 5. What's 5 plus 8? That's 13. That's both of the work track, actually. No, but you'd need to get all that work. So if you want to spend another momentum, you'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. Here it is.
Okay.
Here it is.
So instead of
Yeah, did I hear promotion? I think I heard promotion.
So instead of giving these next 2 breakthroughs to you in small bits, I'll give it to you all at once. Now, you're not going to be able to stop the signal, but theoretically, if you had enough starships surrounding the planet, hooked up to ribonic extrapolators, you could change the signal a little. Now, the problem with this is, because there are a number of... It would only work on the frequency that the signal is being transmitted on. And these guys have other frequencies that they can use. You know the first one they're going to use. It's the one that the security team got for you. So, you could essentially change the code a little bit. But after that, they'll figure out what you're doing and change the frequency, and you won't be able to guess it from then on out. So you'll get 1 shot to change the code a little bit. And you would need a lot of starships to do this. You'd need, like, maybe 40.
So, who's going to call fleet ops?
And, well, as it stands, the 10th fleet has... the 10th fleet has... what's it? I think, like, 5 or 6 ships, then the 2 Klingon ships that are friendly to you guys and are assisting with the 10th Fleet's operations, and then the 7 Zarkonian vessels.
And we just got a ship sheet for the Baikonur today.
So, it's possible. It's. I mean, you're maybe, I don't know. If you stretched it, you could maybe make it work at 30, but you really need 40. And again, as mentioned, you'll get 1 shot, and even then, even if you manage to kill that first wave of viruses somehow with your adjustment, they'll just adjust frequency and do it again.
So moving on to the
Solution?
second
A
task.
bunch
Huh?
of that plan.
What?
General Order 24.
What
Central
is-
threat to the Federation, correct?
I mean, theoretically, we're already conducted General Order 24, but as far as a purge of the AI, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So now for them, the doctors, it's going to be a very similar task. This is going to be because what are you trying to do? You're trying to come up with you're gonna try and come up with a cure.
Yes.
So this is going to be a difficulty 6, magnitude 4, work track 15, resistance 3.
Son of a monkey! I knew I knew I should have gone to this one. Oh well. Go ahead.
Now the difficulty does go down by 1.
Because of the Hadfield's.
Advanced sickbay.
Right. So that goes down to 5.
So it does go down to 5.
Okay, so
And it will be assisted by the Hadfield's computer's medicine.
okay, as the new guy,
Will any of my focuses apply?
I don't think yours will, Sullivan.
Okay.
could you? Because I haven't done really any extended tasks. Can you kind of break down? Okay, I get difficulty. What's magnification or magnitude?
Magnitude. So basically what we have is there's something called work track. And
Right.
the work track is basically like the stress for the task.
Okay,
It's basically combat without doing combat.
right.
So the work track in this case is 15. And when you succeed at the task, you get to roll challenge dice equal to
Right.
2 plus the discipline you used. And whatever you roll is work done on the work track.
Okay,
And if you get 5 or more work done or fill the track, that is a breakthrough.
okay,
If you get a number of breakthroughs equal to the magnitude of the task, you finish.
okay. Cool.
If you get 3 breakthroughs at once, you win.
Yeah, if you
Which
were,
is highly impossible, but you know.
I don't think you can get 3 in one. I said this was magnitude 4 though.
You can, depending on the task
Ye-
and the talent setup.
Not in this situation, though, I'm afraid.
No.
Okay.
Now, what I will let you do is I will let you use you do have another advantage at your disposal, Doctor.
Which
You-
is.
You are the chief medical officer.
Yes, I am.
And
My God.
and chief medical officers have an advantage called it's
Oh. Yeah.
you have an additional advantage.
I can figure out where it is in the book.
But it basically means you get a free advantage. Now you get to decide what
Okay.
that advantage does.
Because it's your sick bay.
Okay.
Distance?
Okay. So an advantage is just something that kind of.
Yeah, I mean it'll have a mechanical benefit of some kind. Now whether
Okay.
it's a straight up reduce in difficulty or some element of the extended task will become easier.
So what do you guys think? What do you recommend for an advantage?
And go through resistance at least, you know. So once you roll the challenge dice, they can't be nullified by the resistance.
That could work.
That's not bad.
All right, I'll allow you to spend your medical team advantage to decrease the resistance. You have your medical staff working around
Right.
to do some of the grunt work in
Okay.
analyzing this virus. It'll take you less time.
Okay, great. All right. Thank you all for dealing with a newbie to the mechanics.
That's fine.
He's cool.
So it's still difficulty 5.
Right. But the resistance has been reduced somewhat. Okay, so I would say either infectious diseases or virology would apply.
Uh-huh.
That clicked. Complication range is.
Now, I will say this. Because Commander Jacoby decided to help out with Azula, he won't be able to help you on this.
The ship
Okay.
will help, however.
The ship will help, and I'll let you know at
I
any
can assist as well.
at any point, you can use your value of "we have to work together." Damn it!
Okay. I think because I only have one determination to spend, I'm going to hold off on that until we really need it.
Okay, so it's difficulty 5. How much momentum do you guys have?
3, so have another momentum for a third dice on your main roll, and Nurse Sullivan will assist along with the
Oh, and don't
what
forget your quick study.
Right.
Your quick study. Oh, your quick study comes into account, so it's
Right.
difficulty 4.
Okay, cool.
I think.
So I'm rolling
Or-
3 dice.
Or no, wait, what? Oh, I misunderstood that. Yeah, I'll allow it.
Okay. Just treating them familiar
I thought
species.
I thought it was something different than what it was, but I'll allow it.
Okay. So I'm rolling 3 dice. Okay, light up. Thank you. And then we're looking for 4, correct? And plus an assistance. Do the assistants need to roll first, or does it
No,
matter?
No, you roll.
first.
Okay.
You have
Alright.
to succeed before they can assist.
And I'm rolling medicine and what?
Reason.
Okay. Medicine and reason. Check. Tasky task.
Yep.
There's just 2.
The ship.
3.
Do you have cautious medicine?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Wait,
It's
where's
a very useful doctor talent.
There's Sullivan.
yeah.
All right, 1 die, right?
Yeah.
And reason science, I believe.
Or reason medicine.
Whichever one's your highest.
Oh, that should have been computers medicine, Jacoby. It's still okay, but
Is it?
Okay, there's our 4.
was it
Do you want me to
4
reroll that
successes?
ship task? Or...
Wait, was it 4 successes?
Yeah.
I got 2,
One,
3,
two,
4.
three,
Yeah.
4.
No, but it was. Oh, that's right, because I let your quick study come into account. So yes, Dr. Blackwell, you get to roll 7 challenge dice. Jesus.
Damn, son.
All right, change it to 7.
I'm gonna smack this extended task.
And make sure to hit enter.
Enter.
Enter before you click on the die roller, because sometimes it's a little finicky.
Enter, and die roller. Go.
2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10.
That's 10 work on the track, so that's 1 breakthrough.
Should be 2, right?
No, because it's not a for every. It's not like you get a breakthrough for every 5. It's just 5 or more.
Right.
And resistance is gone.
Resistance is gone, so that's just straight up 10.
Well, no, I was going. Oh wait, it's 15 work, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Never mind then.
Yep. So as it stands, you as it stands, you think that there might be a possible way to take this virus and there's a way that you could take this virus and alter the genetic code of its genetic code to make it inert, and it would the viral package wouldn't do anything the first time around.
So we're looking at creating a viricide kind of thing.
Yeah, you could or more so you could create a slightly different you figured that there's a way that you could create a slightly different version of the virus that whose payload would essentially be null.
So is that attacking the other virus, or am I just mutating the existing virus?
By mutating the existing virus.
Okay.
And that's just your first breakthrough. There are 3 other breakthroughs
Right.
that you can get. So this goes down to difficulty 3 now because you got a breakthrough, but I am going to spend 2 threats to increase the difficulty back to 4.
Okay. Let's see. 4 difficulty. I got those assistants coming up. Didn't generate any momentum.
Yeah, have another momentum for 3 dice again.
Okay. I'm gonna hold on to my determination to the last possible minute.
Man, you're really clinging to that, aren't you?
Well, I figure I'm gonna get in the hole, and I'm gonna need to pull it out because I only get the 1.
Well, you do have veteran, don't forget.
That's true. That's true. So.
And it did. I think it did work for you last time too.
So, all right. So let's do this one more roll without it, and then we'll see where we are.
It worked for someone last time. They rolled veteran.
And focus, yes.
It wasn't Starix, because you were there when he tried.
Oh no, Varro. Varro did.
There we go.
Oh hey.
Oh, there we go. We got it.
Oh, well, shit.
roll Nurse Sullivan so we can see how much gym momentum we generate.
And that's one of those was
That's
a
two momentum.
Oh!
so that's 2 momentum. Nice.
That is.
Now roll your 7 challenge dice, Dr. Blackwell.
All right.
Jesus.
So, not so good this time.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Spend a momentum to re-roll 3 of those.
Yeah. Reroll 3 challenge dice.
All right. 3. Enter. Press.
Okay. That's what?
4.
7, 8.
8. So you're brought back around to 3 work on the work track, and you filled the work track. So that's 2 breakthroughs.
Okay. Brings us to a total of 3 breakthroughs.
So
Actually, spend the 2 momentum to do piercing, and then it will be all 3.
you don't need piercing.
Yeah, we got rid of the
No,
Resistance.
remember it's 5 or more.
Oh, I thought that was 5 or more because he re-rolled.
Yes,
3
I
of
said
the
you.
dice.
I said you got 2. You got 2 breakthroughs. You still
Right.
need 1 more.
Okay.
So
I thought we had filled the work track. That's my bad.
no, you did fill the work track, but the magnitude of this is 4.
Oh.
All right.
So here's what you figure. Again, boy, I'm saying this a lot. Here's what you figure. You actually have figured out a vaccine for this,
Ooh.
but there's a hitch, and it's a pretty sizable hitch.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the way this virus works is that each individual person essentially has a keyhole to inject this virus through.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of knowing what the keyhole for each individual person is, this virus and the way it changes is basically like carrying around a big key ring with 1,000 keys on it. Eventually one of them is going to work.
It's got a lockpick.
No, it doesn't have a lockpick. It just has 1,000 keys on it.
Or a skeleton key, but yeah.
Yeah. And so the idea is that eventually this disease going around will eventually... one of these viruses will form into the right combination to kill any individual that it comes in contact with, is the idea.
Which is why it breaks down and reassembles in a different shape, because it's looking for the proper key.
Yep. And it happens...
eventually-
And it happens on such a... there are so many viruses on such a large scale that... it's, infinite monkeys typing at infinite typewriter situation.
Right. Eventually you get Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
so here's the thing. You're able to figure out that there's actually a way you could do a vaccine for this. The idea is that you make a serum that, the person takes, and when the virus comes along, it makes an imprint of the delivery mechanism. And from then on out, the body won't accept anything from that delivery mechanism. It's a pretty simple concept.
Mm-hmm.
There's one very sizable hitch, and I think you know what it is.
So the serum, basically the virus comes along, the serum takes an imprint of the virus, and the body won't accept any...
It won't accept the virus again.
Right.
There's a problem, though.
well, death is almost instantaneous as soon as it connects to one neural cell, right?
Yep.
So it doesn't matter if it won't accept it again, because it's not going to accept it again anyway, because they'll be dead.
Yep.
Jim.
That's another breakthrough.
that's what
Dead
you
Jim.
that's what you get off the 2 breakthroughs.
Okay.
And now there's one more breakthrough that you can get.
All right. Well, let's just...
That one tells us how not to die.
Okay, so I'm going to spend the... I'm going to
I mean,
invoke...
the
we have to
obvious
work together,
solution-
damn it. I look around at my crew.
The obvious solution is to create something that would prevent it from connecting at all. But-
Hang on. There's still one more check to be made.
All right, so I'm going to spend the determination. So that's gives me an automatic crit, right?
Yep, and I am going to spend another 2 threat to bring the difficulty up to 3. Because you were at difficulty 2, now the difficulty's 3.
And here's another 2 momentum, so you get an additional 3rd die.
Yep.
Right. So we've already got 2, so this roll adds to that. That one's okay,
4, 6, 7.
7.
Nothing. Or Sullivan.
So that's
Nothing.
you got 2 momentum though. Out of
Okay.
that. So now roll
Oh,
your
let me
challenge
let's roll the
dice.
7's challenge dice. 7, enter. Whoops, that's 73. That's not right. Let's roll 73 challenge dice, just to be sure. Okay.
1,
That's
3,
enough.
4.
That's enough. You get your breakthrough, and you have completed the extended task.
Hooray! That was fun.
I'm gonna give you an answer, and you're not gonna like it.
Okay.
This virus, this genetic code virus, and the way it's constructed, whoever made this knew what they were doing. They researched and did R&D on this virus and calculated it out for months. It must have taken them months to build this thing. They wanted to make sure that it would work the first time. There's no cure to this thing.
So, our solution is to make sure it never gets out at all. That. What
Right.
should we do? What should we do with the samples we have?
Well, I mean, we can destroy the virus. As far as that goes, you can, shoot the box out of the shuttle bay and, phaser it, or, the virus, or you can put the box into a trajectory for a sun, so we can get rid of our samples. Hold on, let me see if veteran comes into play. Nope, no effect.
Mm-hmm. So you don't get your determination back. Oh well.
No big. Well, I share this with the team and with Captain Jacoby. There's no real cure for this virus. You could basically make somebody immune to it, but that would be after the fact when they're immune anyway. So, as Lieutenant Sullivan, sorry, her name is different in the chat on Discord. As Lieutenant Sullivan points out, what we have to do is keep this virus from ever getting out in the first place. I don't know if we can do that by a replicator upgrade, perhaps.
How about constructing some filters for the replicator, Doc? Perhaps we can filter out these molecules from the virus, which would try and enter the replicator and thus infect.
I'll tell you right now, based on what Azula has come up with, that's not gonna work. Because this isn't something to do with the replicator circuits themselves. The computers in the replicators aren't being hacked. If you were to install a filter, that's where you'd have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't the computer creating
What
this
if we
virus.
deafen the replicators? I mean, that may take them offline. I'm rethinking that. But, jam their receiving of the signal, no matter how strong.
Well, Azula, there's something that you know from your experiences with the replicator disease that you might be able to explain to them.
I was absent for the replicator disease episode.
Oh, okay. Whoops. Great. The one person I needed for this. So.
I know Penn fired a torpedo at something.
Yeah. Well, so what you need to know is that on the Kismet, they tried to turn their replicators off. We did turn our replicators off.
They just kept replicating anyway.
Yeah, they were able to cause them to reactivate.
Suppose we could cut all the power to them.
Well, what if we built, a standalone I don't
Oh,
know
so
what you
for
call
this conversation, I think I'd like to move us to the ready room,
it. Okay.
just so that we can have everyone involved in this discussion.
Oh, sure, of course.
Conference room. I mean, conference room.
Briefing room.
The briefing room.
The briefing room, yes.
Who is this Andorian lady
The
on my screen?
officer's wardroom, if you will.
I don't know who that Andorian woman is. That's weird. I don't know why that's there.
That's Lieutenant Jrathrak.
Huh.
Oh,
Odd.
she's.
Huh.
I think the
Curious.
ship's nurse.
Anywhom,
Okay, Dr. Sterix, Dr. Blackwell, could you please give me a rundown of what we have?
Whichever one feels like they know the most.
Dr. Sterix, after you.
Well, to be fair, Lieutenant Ajula did most of the work with the boxes and the transmission. But from what I gathered, what was it I gathered? Sorry, my brain just blanked on me. Crap. Lieutenant Ajula, if you would please explain your findings, since I was just assisting.
Well, we discovered that they're getting access to replicator systems through a more fundamental piece of the hardware. They're sending some kind of a carrier signal that completely bypasses the computer system it's associated with and just essentially gives raw code to the replicators to produce this virus to specification. Essentially, we can't stop it, short of finding a way to completely cut power to all the replicators that would be affected. We don't know a way to prevent them from being instructed to create this matter to specification.
I see. Okay.
There
Dr.
was
Blackwell?
a thought we had. However, the implementation of it is problematic.
What is this thought, Doctor?
We could use the deflector dishes in about 30 or 40 starships to surround the planet and essentially jam it.
you wouldn't be able to jam
Until-
it.
Well,
It's remember exactly.
change it.
Yes.
Change it. To where it may work once to, negate the virus once?
Frankly, I think we're better off just attacking the threat directly than trying to interfere with this attack plan, which we frankly don't have the technical means of doing.
Is there no way of replicating the deflector dishes of 40 different starships?
It's not so much the having to replicate the deflector dishes themselves. It's more having the processing power to out-process an AI the size of a planet.
I see.
And placing them all in orbit around that planet.
I'm afraid our ship's computer would not be able to handle that. However, your observations are no. Nurse Sullivan, Dr. Blackwell, what can you report?
This virus is incurable. That's the only way we can describe it. The way it works, the people who made this, they're a bunch of diabolical assholes, but they know what they were doing. If pretty much all our attempts at creating a vaccine in the traditional manner would fail, and in truth, I can't think of a way that would actually work of curing it.
Well, you weren't able to create a cure, but you do have a vaccine concept.
We do have
there is Right.
a vaccine concept. We know how to change the virus to make it into a sort of a neutral. In fact, I have just realized we have the solution, assuming we could come up with the technical capabilities.
I did too.
We can stop the virus once, correctly, and then we
can change the virus once, but then what will happen is the Orions and the planet will switch transmission frequencies and retweak the virus to make it deadly. And however, what Lieutenant Sullivan and I discovered in our research, we are able to create a serum which, when the virus first contacts, will basically the virus attacks each individual person's and species specific protein, call it a keyhole, and the virus manages to have an infinite keyring, changing shape until it fits whatever keyhole it encounters and then infecting the subject. What we've discovered is a serum that when it encounters the virus the first time will make an impression of that and then never allow that virus to affect the body again. Now, of course, the problem is the virus is almost instantaneous. However, if we are able to surround the planet with Mr. Ajula's plans with the deflector dishes, change the virus as it outgoes the first time to the null version, which Lieutenant Sullivan and I also discovered how to change the interior RNA package. We'll have to get everybody in the Federation inoculated, which is a task in and of itself with the serum. But that null virus will hit the serum, which will make the impression. That null virus won't be able to hurt anyone, but it will create the impression necessary to prevent any other form of that virus from being able to affect someone.
Well, that's better than what I had. I was going to suggest injecting the virus into blood samples and include the vaccine, and then inject the cured blood sample back into the host, allowing it to reproduce that way.
Do I think that would work, GM?
No.
Yes, that
Well,
will work for
Too
medical.
small scale.
It is such a small scale that you wouldn't be able to reproduce that on a scale that would, actually, for a small scale thing, like maybe a starship, possibly.
Right. So my recommendation is we start producing the serum immediately.
And the serum itself is not actually that complicated.
Yeah, which is not all that complicated. We can we start producing and distributing the serum throughout the Federation and all of our allies immediately, while we try to gather the ships or devices needed to trap the transmission and change the data, and we might be able to actually pull this off.
However, you would need a lot of ships.
We would need a lot of ships.
You would need like about 40, and currently as things stand, you only have 12. However, right outside the window of the Hadfield's briefing room, as decloaking outside of the vessel are 12 Klingon birds of prey.
Oh well.
Well, doctors, I think we got our answer.
But it still wouldn't be enough.
Right, it's 24.
That makes us 24,
Well,
yes, but
our-
it moves us one step closer.
Yeah, and I mean, I say 40, but you could maybe get it within, like within 4 starships.
Mm,
So we're looking for 36 at minimum.
at minimum. Right, you all have given me some food for thought. I need to contact the Vice Admiral. Doctors, my apologies, write up a report. You two, Lieutenant Ajula, write up a report about what you think might work on blocking these transmissions for at least a period of time. Forward them all to the Vice Admiral, and let's see what he thinks of them.
Mm-hmm.
Very well.
So you're gonna go out onto the bridge?
Yes, sir.
For now, let's go down to the mess hall and drink a...
So actually, I'd like to have. So is the captain going? The commander going?
Yes,
to
I will go on the bridge. I will go.
Or the bridge. Okay.
Or the ready room, whichever you
Yeah,
like.
this works. This works for me. So, because
Any room.
the others are gonna go down to the others are gonna go down to the mess hall.
Is there like?
Is there what?
Is there what?
She's like. Is there like a synthol thing?
Well, right now we're doing something with Jacoby.
In the mess hall, there's everything you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, there's.
It's a magical
Yeah,
place, the
yeah.
mess hall.
Yeah, we'll do the mess hall in a minute. I want to do something with Jacoby first,
Right.
because
Give it to
he's been patiently sitting by while you guys.
While we bang our heads against walls.
While you guys bang your heads against walls. So you guys go down to the mess hall. Jacoby goes into his ready room.
Okay, let's get behind my computer and call the Vice Admiral.
Okay. After a few seconds, the Vice Admiral appears on the screen. He looks a lot more stressed out. Oh, please tell me you have some good news, Commander.
You want the good news first or the bad news first, Vice Admiral?
Oh, well, since I'm already in a string of bad news, may as well add another one to the pile.
The virus is incurable, Admiral.
Well, great. That is not what I wanted to hear. We need a cure to this. We need a solution.
That's where the good news come in. Are you ready for them?
Hit me.
We have managed to synthesize an inoculation, which will, in theory, work. There is a slight problem, however. This inoculation, according to my doctor at least, will protect you from the virus as soon as the virus touches you. The virus, however, kills upon impact, so that is a bit of a
Well, that's, to use one of your human terms, a null sum. Useless, really.
Yes. Moving on to the second bit of the news, which Lieutenant Ijula discovered. These transmissions coming from the planet, which we have discovered, they can indeed be blocked, and this virus can be stopped for a certain period of time before it reshuffles its strain and starts to kill again. But this can only be done by using massive amounts of power. And, sir, by massive, I mean, according to Lieutenant Ijula's speculations, about 40 starships.
Well, with the KDF forces having just arrived, I think we're a little bit closer to that number, but what does stopping the signal want to do if they can just shift frequencies again?
They can, yes, but as soon as the virus hits us and we change the frequency, we can inoculate ourselves and therefore prevent ourselves from becoming infected with the virus.
So, you're saying by putting these two solutions together, we make sure that the Orions don't get a second chance.
Exactly.
I see. And I assume you have this inoculation formula?
I had the doctor send me up a recipe. I can send it over to you as soon as possible.
Of course, I'll have it run through every medical database in the Federation. I'll send it straight to Starfleet Medical right away. They're gonna want to start producing vaccines as soon as possible, and I'll talk to Admiral Hebert about how we could possibly get more ships. I know she sent some of her diplomatic forces to Kronos, and that was a success, but I don't know what else she could possibly have in mind for friends out here.
What about all those diamond-lined ships out there?
Well, you already took that into account.
Okay. Well, here's to hoping that we can get enough. We have done everything we could, Admiral, with what we have at our disposal. And this virus is a tough nut to crack.
Mm-hmm.
The Blackwell-Sullivan serum must be distributed throughout the Federation.
Understood. Now, I hope you don't mind me being brusque, but I have a lot of business to attend to now that we have this vaccine.
Understood. Jacoby out.
And the screen cuts out. And I assume you walk onto the bridge?
On to the bridge.
Do. You walk onto the bridge, and, it's calmly working, and Biss looks over you and says, everything all right, Commander?
No, Ensign, I have a massive headache.
But I'll get over it. Anything happened while I was gone?
Nothing yet, sir. Just the Zarkonian ships and the KDF forces, assuming position around Narendra Station.
I see. Well, leave a skeleton crew up here. Go down to the mess hall. We'll have something to...
And as you're sort of walking towards the turbolift doors... Hang on. At the edge of the view screen, you see the USS Sarek drop out of warp.
And some bits on screen.
It would appear that the Sarek has returned.
With help or without help?
Not picking up any other ships on sense, and
Give it
then...
a moment.
And then...
Give it a minute.
And then...
It's coming.
Oh, nice.
half a dozen Romulan Dederidex class warbirds decloak around Narendra Station.
6 of them.
Who keeps inviting these people?
That brings us to 30, which was at least a possible.
Oh, did I say half a dozen? I meant a dozen.
Oh, so 12. Okay. That's 36. We're
Yeah.
good.
That's the bare number. I'm probably assuming, of course, the Orions don't manage to blow anything up before we get it set up and operating.
And I mean, the other thing, though, is that these aren't just any old starships. These are Dederidex birds of prey.
Yeah, these are
Dederidex
big
warbirds.
warships.
Right.
I will sigh a sigh of relief. Ensign Biss, please get a transmission going to the Sarek. Give them my congratulations.
Mm-hmm. So you're gonna go down to the mess hall?
Oh, the mess hall.
Alrighty. So, you go down to the mess hall, and I'll give you guys a little time to do a little role play. Just
Oh my god. This was.
Oh, no, not the Infinity
At the
Lounge.
very least, there weren't people dying around me this time, but oh my god.
Here's the mess hall.
Okay, computer, ale, big glass, cold.
And yeah, it. Oh, wait, because I have it. I need the replicator. Where's the replicator? I know I have a replicator. Ah,
Use
here
the
it is.
Voyager one I added.
got it.
And we all died.
Okay, so I'll raise the glass. Everyone, reinforcements have arrived. The Romulans are here. And I'll take a big swig.
Mm-hmm.
And
Those
Blackwell,
Arconians are good for something, apparently.
upon hearing that, will get up and quietly leave the mess hall, go to his quarters, and return with an actual wooden rectangular box, which he carefully sets down on a table and opens up, removing like some straw padding from inside, and slowly pulling out a bottle of Romulan ale.
Hey!
All right, everybody, put down the syntha crap and bring your glass over here.
All right. We'll do just that. Pour him in, Doc.
Yep, and I pour
Oh,
everybody
my
a round
symbiont's not gonna like this.
of Romulan ale. Oh, I didn't notice the spot.
Ah.
No.
Live a little, old man.
And there we go, gentlemen. I never thought I'd say this, but here's to the Romulans.
The Romulans.
Here. Thank God for them.
Oh, and all you hear out of Star X is my cousin is gonna have some explaining to do, and he clinks the glass.
Doctor, so I imagine you're quite anxious to get back to your work.
speaking of, and he actually downs the whole glass, sets it down, and says, if y'all will excuse me, I have somewhere to be. And he
You are
turns.
dismissed, Doctor.
Yep, hold on.
Hang on a moment. Are you actually?
Yeah, anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, no, my computer was doing something weird.
You are dismissed, Doctor. Go be with your wife.
Yes, and he actually turns around and just like he looks like Nurse Sullivan when she came in, just in reverse.
So, Nurse Sullivan, your first big assignment like this, what do you think?
This was probably the second, but oh my god, are y'all really out here every week doing this? I think
That's- Sorry,
it
go
wasn't
ahead.
this stressful on the Kismet all the time.
This is
Because
why
it's
we
usually
drink.
pretty chill, except for
This
that
is-
last time when I was kidnapped.
That's why we drink, Nurse Sullivan. That's why we drink.
I'll tell you one thing, Nurse Sullivan, with or without your doctorate, and I hope you go on and finish it.
Oh,
Welcome
we're
in my
not
sick
on
bay
duty
any
right
day.
now. You can call me Karen.
Well, Karen, you're welcome in my sick bay any day of the week.
Thank you. I am glad for that. I actually started to get the doctorate because of like certain laws in the medical community saying I can't conduct surgery. And for a long time I was the only medical professional on the Kismet.
Well, this will teach him not to give you a doctor or let you perform surgery.
Don't we have holograms?
And
Not on every ship.
She doesn't need to know that.
The Kismet, however, does have an EMH, and that's how she was able to do her work. Surgeries could be performed on the Kismet, but only through use of the EMH.
Okay, see you, Derek.
See you, Eric.
And once again, before we cut to end credits,
Hold on.
here's to the Romulans
Hang on.
hanging.
Alright, so you all raise your glass, clink them together, and then your comm badge chirps.
Jacoby here.
It's Bis, Commander. We're getting a incoming signal. I think you're gonna want to see this.
Put it through immediately. We're returning to the bridge.
Okay, so you go up to the bridge.
Double time.
I know that's the sick bay. I'm moving.
Cycling.
It's okay. It's
Yeah, I have to-
our transition.
I gotta.
It's our transition
I gotta-
from the turbo lift.
I gotta cycle it. So, you're up on the bridge. It says, we should be receiving the signal in about 10 seconds, Commander.
On screen.
Totally taking Veloc's seat.
Mm-hmm.
Should we turn the replicators off just in case?
Negative. Don't touch anything.
So, after 10 seconds, you see a face on the screen. It's a face that you remember, Commander. The face of a Tellarite.
The Orion guy. No, my.
Kerr.
It's like the dog.
Attention, Starfleet. Your time has come to an end. You sit on your high chairs, breathing in your sterile air. Now the air you breathe shall bring your fall. But the Syndicate is merciful.
Yeah. Can we just skip to the part where you try to transmit your thing and we stop you?
Ajula, please, let me finish. And this is just an audio thing. This is just like, there is no responding to this.
Aw.
But the Syndicate is merciful. We will give 10 hours for any who wish to desert the sinking ship. After that, all bets are off. Breathe easy, Federation. And the signal cuts out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of terminal transmission.
Nice.
And the fleet action.
And on Tuesday, we will have the fleet action.
Nice.
Now just give me the TNG music.